Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm glad that you tuned in. All right, today's topic, I'm going to be sharing 5 tips on how to create a great presentation. So if you are someone that does presentations or has to do information to your organization, things like that, you're going to want to stick around for this. However, if you're someone that doesn't, you're still going to want to stick around for this because the information I'm going to share is going to help you to show up in the way that you want to. I am going to help you make decisions and commit to them. Learn how to navigate difficult conversations and say no without guilt. Let's begin by building your inner strength. Welcome. I'm Angela Dryden, your life coach. All right, my friends, let's dive into today's topic. So in today's topic, I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how to create a great presentation so that you feel like the information you're sharing is transferable. In other words, that they're picking up the information that you're putting down, that you feel like you're connecting with your audience and that you're having a good time, that you're having fun giving the information that you're giving, whatever that looks like. So we're going to dive into the 5 tips on doing a presentation. But before we dive into that, I want to first of all dive into the 6 human needs. Now, if you've never heard about that before, Tony Robbins talks about the 6 human needs. And there's 3 human needs that are kind of easily collected, I would say, just by living our everyday life. And there's 3 human needs that if you do a presentation, if you share your skill set, if you have a hobby that you enjoy and you share it with people, that you can grow in those other 3 human needs that you have. So the 3 human needs that we kind of find ourselves, creating in our lives more on an organic level is first of all, is variety. So we want variety in our life, but we also want certainty. So we want both, right? And we get certainty through like a schedule that we have and the way that we live our life. There's kind of a certainty flow that we have and experience. But we also get variety because events happen in our lives. Things come up and we kind of have to alter and change stuff. So we get variety as well, just by living life usually. So there's variety and certainty in that. And there's also connection, whether we work a job, whether we are part of an organization, whether we are in a family, home environment, whatever that looks like for you, there is a part of connection that you have in your world. So you have variety, connection, and certainty. So you have all 3 of those and just kind of being human. Now, the other 3 are things that we experience as we grow. In fact, one of them is growth. So experiencing growth is a need we have. We want to understand more things. We want to learn more things. We want to become better at doing something. So we have a need, a desire to want to grow. Another need that we have is significance. Like when people talk about what their purpose is, I'm not sure what my passion is. There's a sense of wanting to have significance in life and what that looks like for you. And so when giving a presentation and sharing your skills and talent, that helps to nourish that significance. And the other one is contribution. So if you think about fundraisers, or you think about nonprofits, and you think about just helping people out, we want to contribute to our society and our world, and that is a human need that we have. So as you can see, the first 3 are kind of more of we experience those just being human, and the other 3, as we grow, as we find our purpose and passion through significance, and as we contribute, to nonprofits, to society, we feel like we are even meeting more of those needs. And that is why I want to offer that doing a presentation, sharing a skill set you have, the way that you show up in the world, those can really help increase those human needs and help you feel like those needs are being met on a bigger scale for you. Here are 5 tips that we're going to dive in about doing a presentation. So the first tip I'm going to give you is the first thing we got to do is get people's attention. We got to be like, hey, you usually have an intro or something like that. You share something about yourself, which is great. That's one of the things, like sharing a story, a vacation that you've been on. You could share that as well. You can also do a joke. You can like give a joke at the beginning if you want to, depending on your topic of what you're sharing. You can take a picture, like if you're in the audience and you have like take a selfie and then you ask people to tag you in that selfie, they can do that as well, or tag themselves. You can do something like ask them to do something, like give them a quiz or a riddle that they've got to solve at the beginning, and get them kind of interactive and thinking at the beginning of your presentation. And that can just kind of help just create a bigger connection for yourself with your audience, because you feel like you are connecting with them by getting their attention, and you are helping them feel comfortable, and it actually helps you feel comfortable as well. So you both kind of have a win-win in that kind of situation. So, body language, the way that you kind of show up when you're there, all that kind of stuff. And that can help, obviously the way that you show up when you are giving information and what that kind of looks like for you. So your attention. So you get their attention is the first thing. So you want to make sure to be able to do that. All right, the second one is your audience. You got to know your audience. Who is your audience? Is it a network of people? Are they business owners? Are they an ideal client if you have an ideal client? Are they attending something like you're sharing a hobby, a passion, a love that you have? Are they just attending this thing for free that you are sharing information? So just knowing who your audience is when you are speaking to them is really important. Know your audience of who you are talking to, and maybe even reach out to them and ask them questions and find out what they would like to learn maybe more about if you have it kind of open to topic, and what that might look like for them. So the first thing is get their attentions. The second thing is know your audience, who you're talking to. All right, now this is the third step. Begin with the end in mind. This is going to be the bigger body of your presentation, whatever it is that you're sharing. Like understanding what is your end game? What are you trying to help your audience understand? What are you trying to deliver to them? What is it that what needs are going to be met for them? Just like we all have our human needs that I just shared about, right? Our 6 human needs. What needs are you meeting for them within your conversation of what you're giving them? So beginning with the end in mind, think about the pain you're going to solve. Now, when you think about pain, sometimes we go into like body pain, what's going on there, but we all experience pain, whether it's heartache pain, whether it's the loss of something, a job, a career, a change in career, whether it's relationship-wise, there's pain involved in that, whether it's just the struggle and trying to figure things out. There might be pain and frustration involved in that. And understand what is it that I'm going to help them so they feel like they're not going to have as much pain, that I'm going to decrease the amount of pain they're experiencing by the information I'm sharing with them. So understand the pain that you're solving. What are the connections that you're trying to make during your presentation? What kind of interactions are you going to have with your audience that's there? And that's why it's important to know your audience. What are you asking of them? And what's the next step that they're going to be taking within the conversation? And how is that going to flow? And what does that look like for you so that you can make sure that you are sharing with the information that's going to solve the pain that they might be experiencing, the struggle, the frustration, whatever that looks like for them, and that you connect in a way that's going to be helpful. Now, these 4 tips is from another book that I've read as well. Obviously, as you can see, I use lots of different information in my content that I share. But these are tips that it's interesting because I find that when we give a presentation, this pain point and that you're solving is really important to keep in mind to help you know and keep on track of what it is you're trying to help your client experience. Because when it comes to presenting, it's not about you as the presenter as much as it's about what are they gaining from the information you are giving. Like when I do these videos and when I do this stuff, sometimes there's just like a passion I have about something. So I'm so excited that I want to share it. But most of the time, I really do try to go, what is it my audience could gain from this? And how will this be helpful to them? And just knowing that they can watch this and it would be helpful for them to just experience a little bit of a shift for them in a way that's going to be useful. Not just right here and now, but actually kind of follow them later on. That's really my goal when I share information. And so knowing that with that connection and solving. So this right here that I was talking about is one of the things that this book that I had read, it's the $100 Million Idea, I think it is. And Alex is his name that does the book. I can't quite remember all the details. But anyways, one of the things he talks about is increasing a dream outcome. So for your audience, the dream outcome of what they really want, like, are you going to be able to show them how to make or create this? And then at the end, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know I can do this now. Also, that they perceive the likelihood of achievement. Do they really think that the information you're going to give and how you're going to give it, it's going to help them in that way move forward? Now, these are things that you want to decrease for them as you're solving stuff, right? To make sure that this feels like this is more likely going to happen. You want to decrease the time delay. Now, I don't mean the time delay in your presentation. I mean the time delay in the dream outcome that they believe they're going to get from this presentation, from this information. They believe that it's not going to take that much time. They're going to believe that it's going to be worthwhile, that the information that they're listening to, they're going to be able to use it, that it's useful to them. So the time delay, that'll help also with that time delay. And the effort and sacrifice it's going to take them to do it. Beginning with the end in mind is kind of the main body of your presentation, right? The information you're sharing. Now, in the form of how you're sharing it, is this next page. So are you selling something? Are you telling something? Are you sharing something? Right? What is the way that you're showing up in the communication that you're giving to them? So are you selling a product, a service, a solution, right? Helping them with the pain point. Is that what you're doing here? You're selling them on this idea, on this concept. Are you telling them a story? Are you telling them statistics? Are you telling them information and maybe a testimony of what somebody had experienced from this? Are you telling them something that's going to help them decide in what area they're going to go? Is that the way that you want to do your presentation? And you can do your presentation in all three of these. You can sell, you can tell, and you can share. And usually we do all three. The last one here is share. Are you going to share all of the details and what they need to do? Or are you sharing only half the details? Are you giving just a little bit of information? You're sharing that, and then they're going to need to connect with you further in order to get more information for them to be able to know if this is for them. Is this something they want to pursue? And if so, then they know how to connect with you, how to reach you, and how to get the other half of that information that you didn't share. Now, this is kind of what I do. Obviously, when I do these videos, this information, I'm giving content, I'm giving information that my goal is that you can use it right now. It's something that'll be useful. But in order to really make that connection, in order to go further in your connection to self and others, having a coach one-to-one will really make a huge shift for you. That's what I'm doing. I'm sharing some stuff. Usually I give you enough that you can, be able to self-develop on your own, that kind of stuff, be able to invest in yourself on your own time as well. But in order to really flip the switch and to make that, to do things scared anyways, right? To do it scared and not to prolong it, is when you have a coach, when you have somebody now that's going to help and challenge your thinking to help you find solutions you never understood or you never knew were even there. And that's kind of what I do. So I share this information. It's great content, stuff you can use. But to get the other half, working with me will really make that huge difference. And actually, it makes the content too that I share even that much more valuable because you have different ways in how to view it. Okay, so that's on the presentation there. Now that you've shared the presentation and you've begun with the end in mind and you've done either your telling, your sharing, or your selling, there's a call to action at the end. And this is the part that some people don't be precise on. They make so much information at the beginning of their presentation, whatever that looks like, then there is no call to action. There is nothing at the end of what to do. And I know I have been guilty of this as well. Like, I just want to share some information, and if you like it, that's great. If you don't, okay. And I know that's that people pleaser side of me when it comes to that. So I don't really make it mean too much to me, but at the same time, I'm aware of it now, and I decide that now it makes sense for me to give them the next step, because most people, when they hear the information I share, they're like, that makes sense. I want to be able to utilize that more. Or what is the next thing I should be doing? And unless I tell them the next step to take, they're not going to know. They're not going to have an idea. And that's why beginning with the end in mind is so important. That how is it you're going to close it out? What is the finalness of your presentation? How are you closing that? What's the sharing that you need to do at that point in order to make sure that they need to take this next step? Whether it's your website, follow you on social media, schedule a time, book an appointment, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that call of action. Now you need to order supplies from me because I shared with you how to do this. Whatever that looks like. And just be clear as much as you can on that. Because once you've shared some good information, people are like, well, what's my next step? I need to know what to do next after that. And that, my friend, is a great note to end on this video. So the next step, what could you do? I'd love to be able to be your coach. I'd love to walk beside you, hold you that space that you need so that you can create the life that you want. You can show up in a way that resonates the most with you and feel good about it, empowered about it, and just build that self-respect and self-trust. And that's what I do as a coach. So the next step to do would be to schedule your discovery call with me. So if you click in the little notes, if you're on here on YouTube, you click the little notes there about the content. There's a link to go to my discovery calls, and you would just book an appointment. You can also message me out as well and just kind of start dialogue with me if you would like. I'd love to be able to do that too. So whatever that looks like for you, the next step is to connect with me and find out if the content I've been sharing you've enjoyed, to find out where and how you can take the next step and what that looks like for you. And a discovery call is a perfect place to find out. All right, my friends, until we meet again, we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks, and I'll see you then. All right, take care. This next step is easy. Book your free discovery call at www.angeladryden.com today. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share this information with a friend. Until next time, take care of you.